everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Before we get started, can you please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel? It'll do you very good. Now, this film that we're reviewing today is out right now in your theater, starring Michelle Yeoh. It is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Let's start at first with no spoilers. We're gonna just give our initial impressions at first, and then we're gonna go into spoilers, because I think this is an interesting movie that people should probably experience for themselves.
Yeah, this is a film that you definitely have to experience yourself. First, I'm gonna say I did like the film. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I'm going to say this reminded me of Scott Pilgrim versus the World times 10.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Okay. When it comes to the nuttiness of the film, it's a lot of great things in here. What I can say to you guys, Michelle Yeoh knocked this out of the park. Not only when it comes to just the acting that she's done, but the sheer fighting that she does, and the differences between each character that she plays is different.
Yeah, so in this film, Michelle Yeoh plays a woman named Evelyn. She's not particularly good at anything, but she finds out that there is a multiverse. And in this multiverse, it's up to her to somehow save the multiverse. And she doesn't understand why or how this multiverse works. So we travel with her through the movie as we learn more about it. So yep, at one point she learns things like kung fu, and we totally understand how she gets these skills. And the movie is really smart in that almost every single thing she does is motivated by something. And that's a big deal. A lot of movies have no motivation at all. If she throws a kick, if she picks up something and spins it, the movie will kind of pause to explain how she's able to do this. And I think that's just so smart. And Michelle Yeoh absolutely kills it. She's a great actress. And I've always said that she is not used very well in movies today. I'm like, why do you have this talent and she's just standing around? I don't get it. And this movie, I think, shows why Michelle Yeoh is just she's like the secret sauce to almost every movie she's in. Yeah. She was excellent. I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, man. Going into this film, like I said, I've known of Michelle Yeoh from the past movies she's done, and then the movies that she's done, in America, Tomorrow Never Dies, and then with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and those type of movies. Yeah, it's good. And of course, she was in Shang-Chi. She played the auntie. But this shows her talents on a grander scale. Yep, and there's an interview where she says she's been waiting for this type of role her whole life. Yeah, this movie was directed by the Daniels and written by the Daniels too. They did Swiss Army Man, which was a independent film. This guy that is in this film that plays her husband is Ki Hyo Kwon. And you know him as Short Round from Indiana Jones and Data. He has come back to the industry because he's been out of the industry for close to 30 years.
Well, he's been behind the scenes, but he hasn't been in front of the camera because he felt like, there hasn't been any major representation for, or in a correct way for, the Asian culture until recently. And I feel you, Key. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he did great, and he was hilarious, and he had some great martial arts sections too, because he knows martial arts as well, because he's worked with Jet Li. Ironically, he worked with Jet Li behind the scenes on a movie called The One, which is about the multiverse as well, which I think is really funny.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in this too.
Jamie Lee Curtis is here too. Yeah, and she did awesome. But let's get into spoilers. Let's talk about the good shit here. Evelyn is good at nothing. She is truly, literally good for nothing. And she is shocked to find that she's the last hope for the multiverse. And she's like, why? What did I do? What's so special about me? What, of all the Evelyns, what's so special about me? And so the movie moves forward and we learn that all the different versions of the Evelyns are wildly successful. She's one of the most successful people across the multiverse. If she chooses to sing, damn, she's an amazing singer. She chooses to dance, damn, she's an amazing dancer.
She's a great cook.
She chooses to cook, damn, she's an amazing cook. She chooses to do martial arts, damn, she's amazing at that. But this particular Evelyn has tried almost all of that and failed, which places her uniquely in the multiverse because she's dead center. She's the closest to all the other Evelyns, which gives her a lot of power. This movie deals with quantum mechanics. So in quantum mechanics, the idea, or part of quantum mechanics, the idea is that every time you make a decision, you make a new universe. Every single decision you make makes a new universe. You decide to pick this up, boom. I made a decision. I made a universe where I never did that, right? And of course that compounds, times infinity. So there's infinite numbers of different universes, and there's infinite numbers of Devins, right? So one Devin's wearing a hat.
I believe that shit.
Well, quantum mechanics says it's very true. It could be true. There's nothing really to believe. Science says this is possible. Evelyn, because she tried everything, she is closest. There are multiple versions of her where maybe she tried to cook and she succeeded, right? She became a very successful chef. She tried to sing and she succeeded. But in this universe, this Evelyn failed. For some reason, one reason or another, she either failed or gave up on everything she tried to do, which places her uniquely in the multiverse and makes her close to all these different versions of herself. So one of the first times she jumps to a different version of herself, they're like, you got to do something extreme, something that you absolutely would never do. Okay, so to access your first version of yourself, you've got to say, I love you. And it's like, damn. Wow. So that's
you gotta mean it.
To compare, in comparison, some people, they gotta like sit on dildos and shit like that. Butt plugs. Her first one was say I love you. So it's like, wow. So that really informs what kind of character she is. So I feel like this movie is really cool in that her character is very, very well defined. Not only that, every single member in her family is well defined. Her husband is well defined. Her daughter is well defined. I just thought
her father is well defined.
Yeah, he's right. Her father, who's in a wheelchair the whole time. Well, at least in this universe, he is.
Yeah,
is well defined. It's really great. Even the tax collector, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is well defined. It's great. I thought, and one of the fun things about her, I'm gonna go on a rant here, but one of the fun things about her is all the different versions of her were pretty aggressive. So they're like, which version of her did she access? The sumo wrestler, the WWE version, So she's got all these really aggressive versions of herself, which I thought was great. And so this movie is really funny. It's really wacky and eclectic. And I thought this was a very, very enjoyable film.
The big baddie of this film is her daughter. Okay? And it's across the universe, her daughter.
She's threatening the universe because her mother pushed her too far and jumped in the multiverse. And now she's seen so many different versions of herself and of her mother and all this stuff that she's starting to question whether or not anything matters, right? Instead of thinking like getting overwhelmed by choice, she's extremely underwhelmed by choice.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So she's like, what's the point of all this? Why not just blow it all up? You know what? I decided to put everything on a fucking bagel, and I really mean I put everything on
everything.
I put the whole universe on a bagel, and I'm gonna throw myself on that bagel, and that'll be the end of it. It's just like essentially
I'm gonna throw myself, a black hole. Everything, and you got it was a black hole.
A black hole, right? Yep. Just gonna end it all right now. And it's like, how do you convince someone who has she has very literally seen it all? How do you convince her that you matter?
Yeah, and that's a great way to write the character. Exactly.
They got to make Michelle Yeoh, who's been a failure her whole life, convince this lady who's seen everything that
she's not. That she matters.
That things matter. This movie could have gotten really heady. It could have really gotten stuck in this quantum mechanics stuff. But it doesn't. It explains things, and if you get it, great. If you don't, well, watch it again because the movie's going. It's just moving forward.
It's going,
and it really doesn't care whether you get it or not because it's smart in that way because the point of the film is not to learn quantum mechanics. The point of the film is family, right? And the importance of family, and why you should say I love you to your friends and to your family and things like that. And why
be kind.
Yeah, and why things actually do matter. That's right, and be kind. We talked about her husband, and everyone was often annoyed by her husband. But as we learn more and more about the multiverse, we learn that this is one of his happiest versions. He is happy. And there's a lot of other universes where he's incredibly successful. But in this version, he's so happy, he's putting smiley faces and googly eyes on everything, right? And this annoyed Evelyn. But
no more googly eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And he also seemed to have this interesting superpower, because he had a superpower too, which people didn't really talk about. And that he seemed to be able to make improbable things happen. He always says, "Oh, I guess I got lucky," you know? And so he's like, he can convince people to do things that they might not ever do. All the characters were super, super well defined and excellent.
Now, let's talk about this. People, this film was made on a budget of $25 million, and it does not look like that.
No, okay. This is a great film.
It looks like a, dare I say, Marvel film.
Yeah, don't insult this movie like that. I like Marvel. I like Marvel. But Marvel films are ugly, right? They're ugly. They're ugly and flat. This movie looks like a real movie. It looks like a movie that you expect in the theater.
I'm talking about from budget wise to what they had.
It looks
that good. It looks amazing.
I think the movie looks really good, and the effects. I think the people who did the effects, it was like 8 people. It was like a really small group of people. And it's not that the effects are great, but just like in a movie that we're going to talk about later this week, Starship Troopers, it's that it doesn't matter what the effects look like, right? If you sit there and you take a shot of the bagel, the bagel looks CGI. But the point is, it doesn't matter that it looks CGI, right? Because we understand the stakes, we understand the point of that bagel. So when your story is lined up really well, who cares what the movie looks like? Suddenly the effects look great. It looks amazing.
Bro, but there's 2 rocks in this film that have a conversation, and those 2 rocks is Evelyn and Joy. And
that conversation will make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And there's 2 rocks. One of the rocks has googly eyes on it, and this sequence lasts way longer than you think it would. When you compare the budget to this film, the $25 million, compared to what's going to happen with Doctor Strange very soon. Doctor Strange is going to be a big film, right? And it's going to talk about very similar movies, very similar things.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel should be scared, because I've got no reason to doubt Marvel. Okay, they've only, in my opinion, made like one really bad movie, and that's a movie that people love, and it's Spider-Man, Spider-Man No Way Home. So outside of that, I've got no reason to doubt that they can't pull this off. But the fact that everything everywhere all at once could essentially make Doctor Strange on a $25 million budget, and it can really move you and make you scared and happy and laugh and cry and can make you excited. Marvel ought to be scared, or they ought to be taking notes. Like that's
what they should be doing. They should be taking notes. It's not about no scared stuff. You take notes on how to make your films better from this film, especially if you're talking about the multiverse and the way that they did it.
And I fear that, and I hope I'm wrong, but I fear that the multiverse of madness is going to be more navel gazing from Marvel. It's just going to be them referencing themselves, right? And guys, this is just public masturbation, right? That's what Marvel's doing. So I hope it's not. But that's what I saw when I saw Spider-Man, and I didn't like it. I didn't like watching Marvel jerk off for 3 hours. I didn't like that at all. And so I'm nervous that that's what the multiverse of madness is going to be. This film did not do that. This film, obviously, it could not reference itself because there's only one film. But this film took every moment, every second of this film. It was advancing the story and doing something new, doing something interesting, making you question things, making you laugh, making you cry.
Preach.
I am worried that Marvel won't do this, and I hope they do. I see now why you did this multiverse thing, and I see it, and I learned this not from Spider-Man, which is I think what they wanted us to learn it from. I learned it from this little indie movie. Why this multiverse thing could be interesting. So I hope Marvel.
Damn.
I hope Marvel's got some good writers. I hope they got writers as good as the Daniels, because
you knocked this out.
This is gonna be tough.
You knocked this review out of the park, Devin. Oh, yeah. When you said that last part, that was grand. Let's get into the rating of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm just gonna say, with how they treated the multiverse, how the Daniels wrote this film, Michelle Yeoh's acting, and Ki Hugh Kwan, his acting, Jamie Lee Curtis, everybody, man, did an amazing job on this film. I believe that this is a one of one. I'm so fulfilled. It fulfilled me.
Yeah, you don't need a sequel.
No, you don't. And with Marvel, they're banking on sequels, connecting everything, stuff like that.
Marvel is really good at making business decisions, and it's very smart to sell you the next movie in the movie you're in. That's very smart, but it also makes for really messy movies sometimes, you know.
I'm giving this film a 9.5.
Tyrone, I was thinking when I left that theater, I was like, what year is this? Because I think this is one of the best years of movies I've seen in a long time. I gave a 9.5 to Batman, to the Batman, and I'm gonna give out another one to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, it is excellent. I was like, is this a 10 movie? In the movie, I'm sitting here watching it, and I'm like, I'm like trying to clear my throat, not to cry in this thing. I'm like, yo, I'm like,
bro. I by the end, like I said, when that Rock was doing the thing, I was like, this Rock, man, these googly eyes, bro, it's making me googly. I was really moved by this film. I really liked it, because I mean, it's kind of cliche to say you laughed and you cried in the movie, but I think I did. Yeah, I did too, man. I really enjoyed this film. People,
it's the real deal.
Get out there and see this film in the masses, man.
And Hollywood, give Michelle Yeoh more roles.
Give her more roles. Give her just due. Give her flowers while she's still here. She's in her 50s and she is rocking this thing, man.
Awesome. She does the amazing acting, kung fu. The whole thing is just great. She's just, Michelle Yeoh is like a treasure, a national treasure. I
would not be surprised if she's nominated for this, if this gets more buzz. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised, because it's too early in the year. But if this were later in the year, I'm with you. But it's too early. The Oscars are stupid, and they don't remember movies from April when they start giving out Oscars.
That's true, man.
So they're not going to remember. But still, this is a really good movie.
But I gave this film a 9.5. Devin gave this film a 9.5. We both agree again. Get out there to the theater. Watch this film. Watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. Hey, you guys, I'd like to thank you for clicking on this video. It's been a blast coming here and recording this stuff for you guys, giving our takes on these awesome movies every week, awesome or bad, you know, movies every week for you guys. You know how you can help us out?
How, Tyrone?
The red button right there, it says subscribe.
I see it. It's right there.
Oh, hit that subscribe button, you know, to help us out. You know, it really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. And hit the thumbs up if you liked our review. All right. Or you can hit the thumbs down and be like, Marvel movies is the best thing about the multiverse. You guys don't know what you're talking about. We've seen that type of stuff in the comments before, you guys. Whatever. If you guys want to say that is your opinion. But just remember one thing. It is mostly wrong. See you guys in another video.